Good morning. All right, let's go. Okay, so morning.
Morning, Mickey. How you doing? All right?
Good. All right. So above previous month 50%, we're above NFP Friday. We
Yeah.
expect this to continue up. We need to remember to put the new Z-score script on here. All right, so we're currently two and 2.14 away from the constant variable, meaning that we still have room to the upside.
Yeah.
All right, so we're still expecting low a day scenarios. Today is Tuesday.
Yeah.
So from the Sunday 18 to 1900, we came down on Monday from London, spiked below it, support, found support, and now we're above it, right?
Yeah.
The DR community, their Tuesday 9:30 to 10:30 price that they used to find the low of the week will happen today, right?
Yes. Tuesday.
All right, moving on. Putting in our three time-based probabilities on the chart. Midnight.
I have them.
Nice.
Actually,
Settlement. What's up?
no. I have to make an adjustment on our structure while you're doing that. That's cool.
Okay.
Just it's a me thing.
And dang it, I forgot to call him. How's your systems coming?
Sorry, mate.
How's your systems coming? You almost got this process automated yet?
I actually got two parts of it. Yeah. I can. So it's the stuff like NFP and in fact the first two steps they're done. That can happen on the fly on a daily basis. I just run a piece of code. Boom. It does that. With respect to working out some levels, I did actually start last night on looking at the time intervals to make the changes of when we start making those measurements.
Mm-hmm.
What we briefly spoke about. Ignore that. That's my alert thing for Kurt. But I've finished trading for the morning. So that's fine. Yeah. So a couple of things moving along nicely. I think it might go a little bit quicker though, Mickey. I think when we spoke about, I said 8 to 10 days. I reckon I might have a data set. Dare I say it by Friday or Saturday?
Nice.
Yes, that will be nice. And then we can pull it to bits.
And we'll be able to adjust it, right? So we can use these
Absolutely.
boxes based off of the highest probable
Ah,
retracement time and then measure the extension in the retracement. Instead of using kill zones that were just randomly given to us, just use kill zones that actually make sense with data, right?
indeed. Exactly that.
Perfect.
Exactly that.
Perfect. Okay, so we just put in our time-based probabilities in, and we are now done. Oh, no, we're not. We forgot this one. All right, so these are our time-based probabilities below us. Now we're going to do our structure-based. So if we take the arrows from 1800 to 06, we're going to put the highest 15-minute probability in here.
Yeah. 14.
Which this one is 2200. That's got an 82% probability.
Yeah, same.
We need to find a way. Well, I'm already going to do something. I'm going to probably do a back test tomorrow on this channel to find a way to identify, non-ranging market. I mean, trending markets versus non-ranging, or like ways to identify if we're going to have shitty days like yesterday, or like ways just swiping back and forth. Which that wasn't too bad of a day. I made quite a good amount of money yesterday because of that price action.
Nice.
But it's important to have different systems that you can go to throughout the day. So this is 415 probability for that. 78.
78. Just need to check. Yeah.
Nice. All right. It's always good, right, to have probabilities or have trade models that allow you to trade consolidation or ranging or building a value area and actual distribution or extension or whatever you guys call it, trending, because once you identify the market condition that you're in, you know what kind of trader you need to be, you
Yes.
know what style risk profile you should have, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, now let's go on and build our probabilities for our projection-based probabilities. Oh my gosh, my computer is glitching out.
I have them when you need them using Asia long false and London long.
Midpoint broke. Nope, no midpoint broke.
No, we're good.
Okay.
As it stands.
Let me put my London OU.
Yeah.
See how my computer's glitching? This is really annoying.
Oh. Okay.
I need to make this annoying pink stand out. Okay. So now, what does he mean when he says London long false? Right? And this is one thing that we're going to be building. Right now we're using 1930 to 2030. And then after that range happened, we broke outside of it, and then we came to the other side of it, meaning that this was not a true initial balance, right? If this was true, then this low should have held. Yeah, this low should have held, but it instantly, actually, it looks like it was a short false. But either way, it's fine.
Did I get that? Sorry.
Let me see. Yeah, it was a short false. even though it was a wick. It's still
I missed that. Yeah, okay. Well, actually, you could look at the 2030 candle, which on the 1 minute went long. No, it didn't. Actually, it didn't. It didn't. It didn't.
Okay. Well, anyway, either
Yeah.
way, we're
Yeah.
using that range, and right now, like I'm pulling a lot of data to tell me, is this the smartest range to use for that, or could it be this range, or could it be before this, et cetera, et cetera. And so, but basically right now we're just putting those scenarios in, and it's going to give us our projection-based probabilities, right? Based off of what Asia variables did, what London's variables did. This will give us the probabilities of the projections, right? So now we got London. It from 3 to 4, right? It went long, but now it's holding.
Yeah. Yes.
So what I'm talking about, oh my god, my computer's glitching like freaking hell. Crazy.
Was it slow?
Yeah, it keeps freezing on me. Super annoying. Alright. Okay, so 2 scenarios we have to incorporate, right? Scenario 1 is, does London break the mid? Because a couple of things that, well, let's put the probabilities in first, and then we'll put the scenarios. All right, so go to your vet, go to the standard deviations. It should be set to Monday. One, two, one, five, five. And these deviations. All right, so we've already hit +5 to the upside.
We have.
So let's go to +8. And this is 20223. And what's the probability for that?
50-50.
50%.
Yeah.
All right. And that one falls within the ADR and the weekly range.
Does just.
Now we're going to go to the -2.5.
Yeah, -2.5, 68%.
1 minute. I lost my computer's glitching out. What a piece of shit. I just bought a new one. How is it doing this? I'm about to fire up old Betty. My old computer. They never give me these kind of issues.
I used to find that sometimes you've got to, like, with a new computer, it kind of just like leaves everything on.
Mm.
And sometimes a little bit of, this one's for Jerry, a bit of jiggery pokery. In other words, a little bit of reconfiguration of switching some stuff off.
Maybe that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
I need to come over to Ireland and, have you work on it. All right, what's -2.5?
-2.5 is 68%.
We've only moved 46% of the average daily range. So there's plenty of room on the table.
Oh, I like that number. 20002.
All right, this is 19954. What's the probability?
for the -5 is
yeah.
48%. 48%. These numbers are coming from the database and not from the vet. Okay.
Yep. Because you have to incorporate what Asia did and what London did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Should be reaching out to TFO to see if he'll help us build the Pine script once we have the ability. You know,
Yeah.
what's the
For sure.
-8?
-8 is 32%.
Okay. So we've taken out previous day's highs, right?
Yeah.
Right. We took out previous day's highs and we completely sucked back into the range. So when you see that, no matter what the time fractal, you need to go in and see where you are in relationship to that 4-hour cycle. So for me, I just simply draw a box. So this would be the low of the 4-hour cycle, right here. So thinking 0.2 to 0.6, that's a 4-hour cycle with the midline. I'm gonna pay attention to, like, did we just take this out, suck back into the range, which on the lower time frame, like if we go to, oh my gosh, our live price executing chart, right? You can see that we made it, test the low, open the new hour, 5-9 box develops, and then we lose the 5-9 box, and that's what we currently are. We're paying attention to that H4. Where are we in relationship to this H4? Well, we're right around the mid, right? And is this going to be a case where we need to come down even lower, right? We know that each 15-minute has probabilities, right? So if we go to the 15-minute chart, is this the firecracker of us starting to take out some of these probabilities? Like this 315, 330 until 1600, it has. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, I just glitched out hardcore. So that 315.
Just trying to get
All right,
that.
this has a 75% probability of being returned to.
315. Yeah.
We see that this 15-minute low right here, the 130, has an 85% probability of being returned to.
Yes.
We see that the 1 o'clock has an 87. The 0045 has an 89.
Yeah.
The 0030,
89.
89. Yeah. So we see that all of these going down to structure stat 1 has high probabilities. And what we're trying to figure out when we see moves like this, right? We know that momentum for the daily is up. Why? Because it came up and took out previous day's highs. But now we're trying to see which one of these probabilities is going to net it. Right? What do I mean by net it? Right?
Catch it.
Exactly, catch it. Like if I kicked a soccer ball in a net and it was tight, or regardless, it's going to go into the net and then bounce out of the net.
Yeah.
Physics, right? We're trying to see which one of these probabilities is going to capture that net process. And you should be looking at this chart right here, your live chart, to see the net and using the 5-9 boxes and these previous hour midpoints to find that net, right? If you're a short seller, like if we didn't take out the previous day's highs, and what, by the way, before we go more into this, like let's do the scenarios. All right. So if we stay, if this London low holds, like what's number one? What's the scenario? What kind of 930 to 1030 has the highest probability?
Yeah, just 1 second. Change screen. So okay.
Scenario 1 says if we stay true long on London, right?
Yeah, that would
Okay.
be adding up the upsides. We're going to get 49%.
All right. Engulfing it.
Engulfing it is 26%.
Which is all right. Below London high.
23%.
All right. Do me a favor and say that London had a false. We breached.
Yeah. So if
Asia
London.
mid. And then that would be scenario 2.
Oh, fuck. Sorry.
Doesn't matter.
I just need to double check something. Can I just double check these numbers with you? Simply because there was a true selection on those numbers I just give you for the 3 to 930 break, which we've not had. So apologies for that. 35, 45, 53 on the upside.
Nope.
Sorry, 53 on the upside, and 24 for range. It keeps resetting, the database does. And then the downside,
What would you say for engulfing?
24%. Sorry about that.
Is this for scenario 1 where it's a London long true?
London long.
Or did this become a false? Is this with false incorporated into it?
No, what happened was, so I haven't got that far yet. I didn't realize that there was something set in there. So range. So if okay. Right. So long true. Okay. On the range is 22%. Upside 60%. And downside 17%. Let me know when you're ready for false. London, scenario 2.
And 16%. I am ready for scenario 2. So scenario 2 will be that London was
long false.
Breached London's low by 0.830. And did you put the mid in?
So the ADR mid would have to break between 3 and 930 for that, right? So yes, that's the.
Okay, I'm ready. Above?
Above is 13, 19, and 23% for above.
Okay. Engulfs?
33%.
And below London's high.
43%.
Okay, and what's the 1030 on direction, dominant direction?
For this current setting, would be long.
By how many percent?
56%.
Okay, and for scenario 1, what was the
Yeah.
1030 on?
Yeah.
Highest probable direction.
1 second. Just
More than
loading.
likely going to be long.
It's actually short.
Oh, okay. By how much? Short by...
1 sec. That setting brought back in there. No, it is short, and it's 46%.
And long is what, like 40%?
Yeah, it's saying the same number, but actually the graph is a slight discrepancy. So there's a decimal place in there somewhere, but it's saying 46%. So it's probably like 45.6%, but visually it looks slightly off.
46 for the short, and how much for the long?
46.
Oh, wow. So 50-50.
Yeah.
All right. So now, before we move to the next step, I want to figure out how to use this gap indicator right here.
Yeah. Ooh. I think we've lost Mickey. Guys, I think we've lost Mickey. So I'm just going to find out what's going on. Just bear with me. Yeah. I think he's coming back in. We have a technical issue. Okay, guys, Mickey's just had some issues. He's coming back now. But to recap where we are, we've just dropped on our projections. So then, and we were typing up what the scenarios were. So Mickey will finish that when he comes back. In the meantime, I'm going to get ready and get the distributions, the time distributions, and prep that for when. Oh, there he is. For when he's back in.
What the crap, dude? Like, my computer just died and you just shut down and kept the stream running? Wow, that was weird.
That is weird.
Alright. This is freaking annoying.
You were working on the scenarios, and I was just actually in the background grabbing the time block.
Okay, save the scenarios. Okay, cool. Everything's saved.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna have to do everything all over again.
No, we're good.
Oh, horrible. Alright, let me share my screen. Sorry about that, viewers. Are you guys still there?
They are.
Okay, cool. Let's get it. Alright, so we have scenario 1, where we stay above this London low by 8:30, right? And then if that's the case, these are the scenarios the 9:30 and 10:30 are. Scenario 2, right, says that by 8:30 we come and breach this low and breach this Asia midline, right? And these are the probabilities, saying that we put the high of the day in this London more than likely. Well, maybe not, because it's got a long 56, right? So now we're going to go through, and we've got our time base, our projection base, and our structure based probabilities on here, right? And we'll probably add one more to the top side once we get to the distributions, right?
Yeah.
But before we do that, I would like to come over here to the midnight snap. Oh, now my computer's acting normal. Just had to take a shit.
A good old fashioned reboot.
Yeah.
Das boot.
Works every time, especially when you're in the middle of a stream. Okay, so I've got to learn how to use this. So let's say 10% of the gap is filled. This Monday should show 100%. Say from 9:30 to 1700. And bear with me, viewers, because I've never used this, but it's something I'm trying to incorporate. Show gap statistics.
We can all learn together.
Yep, on the 15-minute. Let's put 0.1. Does that change my statistics at all? 5%. Does that change it at all? Sessions to be 0930 to 1700. Oh, it moved it. I don't know how to use it. I'm gonna have to get with Austin because I know he uses it. Any of the viewers know how to use it? Say 1%. 1% gap retracement. Eyeball is running. Nothing changed. You have to be on RTH. Oh, good to know. Good to know. See? No, I'm not renewing my antivirus. That's probably why I have this issue.
Can be.
Oh, okay. So here it is right here.
Yeah, got it.
Right? See? Dude. Michael, thanks, man. All right. So that's that. It's Tuesday, so it's got a 69%, 67 of the 97. Close those gaps. This was 1%. Let's do 5% now. So 5% drops it. Let's do 50%. 65%. Do 75%. Yeah, I was thinking about this yesterday. The only discretionary part I have in this is where to place the 9:30 to 10:30, right? And I was thinking, Well, we know settlement gets returned to, right? So if we're in a scenario where upside isn't bluntly higher, then it just needs to go between settlement and where we currently are. Like the London OU, like is always a good one because you have midnight snap that has the highest probability from 8 to 9 of being pulled to.
Yes.
You have settlement, which from 9 to 10 has the highest probability to being pulled to. And I don't know Globex Open yet. I haven't found a time that really stands out. But so I'm going to probably start anchoring this 9:30 to 10:30 box right here. And then, you know, tracking is Tuesday going like this. So this is a 50-50, so there's no edge in that. So let's lower this to 50% of the gap being filled, right? And once it loads up, it still has a 50-50. So let's go 40%. Like I said, this is a new step, so that brings it up to 60.
60, yeah.
30 on a Tuesday, brings it up to that. 20%, 64, 10%.
Yes. You're squeezing about 65 there, 65%.
65. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it works better. I know on Mondays and Fridays, like it works hecka good. But it's just to have that situational awareness of that RTH gap. I swear, you and Austin, your Tinkerbell bells. Alright. So I'm gonna turn that off. But that's gonna be coming. I just have to wrap my mind around it a little bit more. Okay. So 9:30 and 10:30 box, put our turn off midnight snap. We have our projection base, our time base, and our structure based probabilities. Now, if we know that this low has not been breached and we're already finding rejection off the midpoint, new hour.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep my eye over here. Dang it, Austin. Austin's already made a trade. I already know it. Okay, so we're going to put on our opening range gap. We can see that the average 10-day distribution from 9:30 to 10 is 104, and for 9:30 to 10:30 is 141. So we're going to draw out our 9:30 to 10:30, 141.
Yeah.
Right? And off of settlement, that means that we would be utilizing this 22% probability, right, at 9:30 to 10:30 with the average range, right? And so now, right there. Now let's get our average daily range, which is 338, and we currently are at 50% of that. It's going to the moon. Anchor that right where the low of the day currently is.
Yeah.
Average 10-day range 338. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the 4 to 8. So looking down here in this table, we see Tuesday over the last 47 Tuesdays is on average moved a 0.5% from 4 to 8, or 0.44%. Move this to 8 o'clock. It's like that. And we're going to do our 8 to 12. $99. So 1%.
Fuck.
99 red balloons. All right, so now this is where the critical thinking comes in, right? Why is this below this? Well, because we know from 8 to 12, midnight has a 75% probability based off of the time look back that I'm using, right, of being returned to. Settlement between 8 to 12 has a 66% probability. Globex Open has a 70% probability, right? And we know based off of what Asia and London has done, right, that we know that this, based off of where we are in from a momentum standpoint, using NFP Friday and previous month 50% in that data, we know that this structure stat 2 has an 80% probability of being hit. And I don't know why I have two of these on here. Will you do me a favor and give me the 2.5 again, probability?
Yeah, of course.
I think it was 62.
2.5 negative.
Yep.
Yeah. 50. This doesn't change now, is it?
Do it off of scenario 1.
Scenario 1. 48% I have. Is that right? No, 68.
Yeah, I was about to say that's
Yeah.
68%. Okay, so based off of structure set 1 has an 82% probability. These ones all have between 66 and 75. This projection-based probability, which is based off of the price action that Asia and London has done, has a 68% probability. So it's safe to assume the low of the day still has not been formed, and that we can do something like this, right? And then if we do that, right, we can expect scenario 1 to play out, right? And then for us to end the session long, right? But first we have to put our other distribution in, which is 75. And this is going to be 0.75 for 12 to 1600. All right. And all of our targets fall within the daily range. So that's reasonable to think that, right? One thing we have to focus on, right, is if momentum from NFP Friday and previous month is telling us that we are in a trending market up, we still have 2% on the weekly chart to measure into this week. Those were the first two steps that we can price in. Then we can expect today to have an up close candle by settlement time. We expect our settlement for today to be above this settlement right here.
Yeah.
Right. However, we still have to figure out the noise of the intraday from a statistical standpoint. Right. And that's all we did during this. So this is with scenario 1, right? We hold this London low right here, right? And then 930 to 1030 has a 60% chance of being above this London low, 22% probability of engulfing it, and then 16% chance of this London high right here not being breached on 1030, 930 to 1030, right? However, I see that we have a 60% probability of being above this London low, but I cannot ignore these stats right here, right? I still have to incorporate them into my game plan. Doesn't mean it's a guarantee. It doesn't mean that the 60% is a guarantee. It just means it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and this is the highest probable trade. And the further out you try to predict with stats or project with statistics, the more you need to make adjustments as the variables start playing out.
I guess that area is kind of like a tolerance, isn't it? It's if it's coming down, or potentially the net, right? If that area is where the net is, it doesn't necessarily have to like have a precision to it.
Yeah, because remember, this is just to keep us situation. This chart is just for situational awareness.
Yeah.
Right. This chart is the one we trade off of.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So that's that. All right. So now, one thing I want to do, since I have about 10 minutes left, we're going to jump to a new chart. We're going to go to the micros. We're going to take our, we're going to go to a live price chart. Right. We're going to go to the 5-minute on our live price chart. Right. We're going to go to the captain's boxes. We're going to deselect all the captain's sessions besides one. And since Austin's in the chat, this is a test that me and him are going to work on, and he's already knocked out a bunch of the months, and it kind of goes along what we were talking about for the last couple of weeks, where we know. Okay, so real quick, we're going to change this session 21 that we left selected. We select that from 9:30 to 10:30, or 9:30 to 16:15, just like that, right? So we can see the RTH hours, right?
Yeah.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to this little thing right here, and we're going to go to bar pattern. Right, we're going to start at that 9:30. We're just going to draw it over to the 16:15, just like that. It's going to give us a script. We're going to drag that up. I don't know why this is still showing this overlap right here. Oh well. Let's turn off everything else. Actually, we want to put one thing on. We want to put our time cluster script, which is free. Deselect everything, and you're going to put just 9:30 on. Because this is the next back test that I'm going to be doing. All right, and you want that 9:30 to be bright so you can see it. So just make it green and dark, just like that.
Nice.
All right. So we can see that the 9:30 got swiped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 6, 7 hours. 7 hours we swiped back and forth at 9:30, right? And we're going to put a price tool here, and we're going to measure top to bottom of the RTH, and we're going to drag that up, just like that, and we're going to go to the next day. We can clearly see that this was not a trend-in day, right? The overlap he has.
Yeah, Jerry.
Uncheck that. Yeah, let me do that real quick. Extend to the last hour, so right there. Cool. All right. So now we're going to rewind to this day. Hopefully the time cluster rewinds with it. It did. Yay. Turn that off. Turn that off. Perfect. Okay. We're going to do the same thing with this, right? We're going to pull the bar pattern. Doesn't matter where you place it, it's still going to grab it from there to the end of the blue. We can see that 9:30 swipe up and down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times, right? We drag that up, right? We're going to put our price tool on it. High to low. Come back to it. Go to the next. Does this look like a trend day or a reversion of the mean day?
It's not trend.
All right. It's not trend. It's reversion of the mean, right? Same thing over here. Bar pattern. drag it up, swipe 1, 2, 3, and then close at 9:30, 4. High to low. Going to the next day. Don't worry, we're going to collect the data. All right, now this day, 9:30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the hours return back to that 9:30. Drag that up. Does this look like a trend day or a reversion to the mean day?
Yeah, reversion.
All right. So what's the point of what this? What's going to be the point of this exercise? Using the 9:30, the range, right, is to show you guys that year over year, you don't typically get these trend days, right? You get these reversion to the mean days during the RTH. And so your job is to identify, we're going to use the 9:30 as a fixed variable, right? And so we have realistic expectations as traders during the time frame that we trade, right? And during that time frame, we can know what realistic expectations are. This chart down here, which is a private script, if I could get somebody to code it up, that'd be cool. Maybe I will. But this is saying that the average long swing is 68 handles. The average short swing is 69 handles, right? Saying that from low to high, right? That the average long swing is around this in the current market conditions, right? So if that's the case, yes, you can trade this right here, all this. However, it's not guaranteed and it's not average every day, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to build a test. We're going to start testing it to see, first and foremost, which one does using the 930, right? Using the 930 price as a constant variable, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. It was in this 930 range, right? Can we determine if it's what the characteristics of identifying a trend day versus a reversion to the mean?
Brilliant.
Right? And then after that, once we collect that data, we'll collect this kind of data where it says the average long, short, blah, 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 all that. Right? Because I think that's important for especially newer traders. Because remember, it's all about expectation management. Like, knowing that shit doesn't go to the moon every single day, right, is proper expectation management.
Absolutely.
Right? And knowing that, that let's say you're a DR trader or you're an ICD based trader and DR says, like this could be a false day, we target the other side of this, right? It's one thing to have our probabilities, well, I can't pull it, like every morning we put our probabilities on the charts, right? But then having characteristics that say, yes, this has a 80% probability of returning to here, but the characteristic that says the 930 is being swiped back and forth to, right? Well, that's completely off. Crap. But having because knowing this kind of information, and then I'm gonna have to jump, knowing that majority of the time when I zoom in, Like this is just 5 days collected, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that, I wish I had a way to put the 930 candle. Well, we know the 930 is here in the hourlies, right? Knowing that this week alone, on average, puts in around 250 handles on the RTH, but it does it with pain, right? So if you're sitting here and trying to long the bottom of the 930 to 1030 or the 1030 to 1130, you're going to have a bad day because what does it typically do, right? Reverse back to the mean, reverse back to that 930, right? Reverse back to that 930, stays in the 930, reverse back to 930, right? So just here in this example, right, we can see that we can get about 1% out of the RTH consistently through this 5 days. Even on this day, we couldn't get 1%, we got 0.5%, right? But we know that one thing is guaranteed, like it's going to revert at some point of that day. There's
Yeah.
only a few days
Yeah.
where we don't, where we properly, where we trend, right? Like look at this day right here. This day, we could consider this afternoon movement a trend. This
Yes.
930 is shacking up in replay mode hardcore. Maybe I'll just use the first hour. We'll use the 9 o'clock to the 10 o'clock hour because that can't get fucked up with this script. All right. So that's to come. And so what we're going to do is every morning, the first step is going to, or maybe the last step if we have time. This goes.
I have some code that might be able to help with that, Mickey.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
something that we're definitely going to use. But for the viewers, like, I want them to see it with their own eyes because, like, it's one of those things, right? Where like you have to. So when you code stuff up, the difference between code and backtest and manual backtesting is manual backtest allows to pull out the nuances and the details that you notice. That's why I tell everybody, like, yes, you should code everything you trade to get time to show the trueness of it, of the nuance that you're trading, right?
Yeah.
But start with like 100 to 200 backtests where you manually do it because that's how you see the little nuance and supporting factors that support that test.
I agree. Actually, it usually starts with a manual. Then you want to kind of prove
Mm-hmm.
what it is you see in, and then you knock code up. It's just something that's legacy for me in terms of code that I'd written before that was looking at something specific like that, and I just thought it might help over
Yeah.
a larger data set then to confirm what your manual is doing. That was all.
So for this day, right, we couldn't have predicted. Well, we could have. We could have. We couldn't have thought that this was going to be a 4% checkmark day, right, where we trend at 11 o'clock, right? But where were we? That's September 11th. Where was September 11th in relationship to previous month mid and NFP Friday?
Mm.
Remember, we were expecting that day to close higher above this NFP box, right? Didn't expect it to be a 4% day, but like we were expecting a push out of this NFP box, right? But yeah, that's one thing we're going to do, and is I'm hoping that allows the viewers to see what realistic expectations are within, you know, like their trades during the RTH, and maybe like my buddy 930 and I did the same thing. Like I was horrible about it. I would watch my profits go up to $1,000 and then all come back. $1,000 come back
Yeah.
because I was expecting these style days right here. The ICT community calls them a typical buy day with the New York protraction, right? So the protraction either happens, like the protraction to the ICT community is the low of the day, and they define it within 2 days, times of the day. It either happens in London or it happens in New York AM, right? Or the high of the day happens in London or it happens in AM, New York AM, right? This was a New York AIM contraction followed by the distribution higher. For the DR community, this was a typical false day, right? Because we bridged the 1030 to the downside, and then we completely turned around having a false day. We overlapped all DR targets, et cetera, right? But these are fun days, and you can see, right, if you use the hourly boxes, right, and if I reset the hourly boxes, if I select them all, let's do 1410 to 1415, and I go back to selecting them all. Like this tells you the market condition clear as day. So you can know, you can manage your position and your risk profile based off of that, right? And go. What the hell did I do now? Jerry, I broke it. I officially broke the code.
It might be your last one, Mickey. If you look at the session, you've got 1410. Shouldn't that be 1505 to 15?
Oh, yeah. Dang, what was I thinking?
So, oh,
still broken.
Came back for a second and then
still broken.
The overlap is select will extend the last hour. Maybe Jerry.
Reload it. Damn, I broke it good this time. Oh well. Anyway, what I'm saying is you can just reset default. Let's do that. It's officially broken forever. Oh shit, I get it. It's working. The boxes are tiny. Okay, so let's redo this. Blue. Like that. And then the midline is right here. Make that yellow and obvious. And no, I don't want dotted, so solid. There we go. Now we're cooking. All right, let's go back to September 11th. Let's go back to the 1 minute chart. All right, let's rewind so it actually calculates it. All right, so this is why I tell you, right, that you need to, this is previous day, so this was the 1800, right? We take out the 12-hour structured low, right, which had an 80-something probability of being hit. We take out projection like the 2.5, -1, -2.5 projection, which was down here. And then if we had thought this was a reversal period based off of this right here, right, we incorporate the 5-9 box, we step above it, breaching previous hour midpoint, we find footing on it. So we get to start at 2 micros right there to expect, because this day we did expect higher prices by the close, because remember, at the end of the day, you need to tell yourself, if you're going to be a trader that doesn't trade like specific distro trades or reversion of the mean trades, if you're actually a trend-based trader trying to capture 40 to 60 handles in these markets or 100 handles in these markets, you have to have something that tells you the market conditioning, right, to make sure that you're in the right market conditioning for the style of trading that you did, right? So we could have started our 2 contracts here, right, a fourth of our position, and then as price continued, right, this one can't get below the previous hour mid, steps above the 5-9 box right here, finds footing right there, steps above it right there, find footing, steps above, finds footing, and then the next hour opens up, can't get below the previous hour mid, steps above 5-9 box, find footing. And these ones you're adding most of your contracts to,
Yeah.
right? And then it continues up, and you have a old greedy bastard day is what me and Jerry call it. One of our mentors used to call these old greedy bastards day, was like they slam the bid and they rip everybody off that thinks about being a short. But yeah, any questions so far? This was kind of like a shit show session because like we went over a lot of things. My computer crashed, et cetera, et cetera. But any questions so far? Because I am going to have to jump. So right now we rejected that London midpoint. We're above. We stepped above the 5-9 box, breached the mid, found footing on the 5-9 box. So we expect to go higher. Any questions in the chat?
We've got nothing at the moment.
All right. With that being said, I'm going to cut the stream and have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mickey.
Later, big dog.